Year's Eve 2012, I was coming back from visiting family in Tennessee, in Knoxville, and it had started to ice a little bit and snow, and I slid off the road and across the outer road and into the woods. I don't really remember much of that. That's just what I've seen from pictures and what I've heard. In the diagnosis with all the other broken parts, they had also described traumatic brain injuries, or mild traumatic brain injury, as part of the injury. And I was in the hospital, intensive care hospital part, for about 3 or 4 days. And I guess about the first 2 or 3 days, I had quite a few surgeries: leg and face and hand and a little bit of everything. I would say I didn't really realize or think or notice cognitive changes until after I was out of the rehab and home, and really until I came back to school, which was in the middle of spring break. So what, 5 months? Four and a half, 5 months coming back to school and being able to just have to do all the much more organizing type things. Those kind of tasks became a lot more difficult, I think. And anger and upsetness over, really when I think about it now, over nothing situations, not big situations, but just being upset at home with the kids, just with myself, just life stuff.
Traumatic brain injury, or TBI, can be caused in a variety of different ways, including motor vehicle accidents and sports and military injuries. In more severe cases of TBI, there are 2 stages of trauma. The first is mechanical damage from the impact, and the second is biochemical damage caused by enzymes released in the brain. The enzymes released in the brain after TBI cause damage by breaking down brain cells. This second stage of trauma can lead to many of the lasting motor and cognitive impairments seen in survivors of TBI. The effects that Greg saw after his accident include emotional changes such as increased frustration, as well as difficulty with higher level thinking and planning. In Dr. Zezangu's research lab at the University of Missouri, a team of scientists is developing a treatment to mitigate the effects of the second stage of trauma. The treatment is designed to interfere with the breakdown of cells in the brain and thus limit the long-term effects of the brain injury. The GU lab currently studies the effectiveness of the treatment in mice. This is done by first administering a TBI to a mouse, injecting the treatment, and then studying the mouse's motor ability and physical state of its brain. Repeated trials show conclusive evidence that the treatment improves motor function and reduces overall brain tissue loss.
The photo on the left shows brain images of a healthy mouse. The photo on the right shows brain images of a mouse after experiencing a traumatic brain injury. The differences in the 2 images indicate brain tissue loss from the injury.
As the research moves forward, the GU lab hopes to see the treatment used in humans soon.
We spent a lot of time talking about individual experiences, the uniqueness of each survivor's injury and the struggles that they faced. From a cognitive perspective or a thinking perspective, we are talking about an injury that's centralized in the brain. Of course, we know that the brain affects all aspects of our functioning. There's very little that someone can do to prevent a primary injury, but there's lots that can be done about those secondary consequences. So there's going to be obviously less brain damage if you can offset some of the things that are secondary to the initial impacts of the injury, like a secondary bleed. Beyond survival, enhanced quality of life, and that can play out in many, many ways.
I always have a hard time with the causation of what's going on. If I'm feeling a certain way, is it because of an accident? Is it just a situation? But it seems like a great idea if you can have some sort of some intervention that's early on and helps people's recovery time, and helps especially the cognitive issues.